There is a rumor going around that if you missed the Camp Lejeune deadline, you missed everything. That is wrong, and believing it will cost you. Two completely different things got mashed together in your head, probably by a TV commercial. Let me pull them apart because one of them has a closed door and the other one has no deadline at all. I'm A. Perkins, former U.S. Air Force nuclear missile launch officer and disabled veteran. Filed my own claims. Let's go. Thing number one is the Camp Lejeune Justice Act. That's a lawsuit against the government for money damages. That filing window closed in 2024. If you didn't get in, you didn't get in. That door is shut, and I'm not going to sell you a fantasy about it. Thing number two is a VA disability claim. That is completely separate. Different system, different money, different rules. And a VA disability claim has no deadline, none. You can file it today. You could file it in 10 years. There is no window to miss. Every one of those late-night lawyer commercials was about the lawsuit. Almost none of them told you about the VA claim. So when the lawsuit window shut, thousands of veterans assumed it was over for them. It is not over. Let's talk about what's actually available. The window is August 1st, 1953 through December 31st, 1987. 34 years of contaminated drinking water at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. You need 30 days there, 30 days. They don't have to be consecutive. Active duty, reserve, or National Guard. And here's the piece most people don't know. It's not just veterans. Family members who lived on base. Civilians who worked on base. If you were there 30 days in that window, you're in the group. So if you're a spouse watching this or an adult child who grew up on that base, this includes you. That is not a technicality. That's who the law was written for. For VA disability purposes, these are the presumptive conditions tied to Camp Lejeune. Adult leukemia, aplastic anemia, and other myelodysplastic syndromes, bladder cancer, kidney cancer, liver cancer, multiple myeloma, non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and Parkinson's disease. 8. Presumptive means the VA presumes the water caused it. You are not standing there trying to prove that a chemical you drank in 1974 caused a cancer you got in 2019. You don't have to. The law hands you that link. You prove you were there 30 days. You prove you have the condition. The connection is presumed. Now that's the presumptive list. It is not the only list. There are other conditions the VA will consider on a direct basis with medical evidence. Don't let the number 8 talk you out of a claim, but those 8 are the ones where the road is shortest. Same rule as every other presumptive. If you filed for one of these before the rules covered it and you got denied, file a supplemental claim, Form 20-0995, not a brand new claim. The change in law is new and relevant evidence, and the supplemental protects your effective date, which protects your back pay. A new claim starts the clock over. I've seen veterans lose years of money on that one decision. Same condition, same evidence, different form, different outcome. Now let me tell you how I'd actually put this in front of a raider, because this is where veterans with a legitimate claim still lose. One claim, one form, one evidence packet. If you're claiming 3 conditions, that's 3 separate 21, 41, 38s and 3 separate packets, all submitted together in one package, one effective date. On each form, 7 points. The condition and the diagnosis. When, how connected. The impact on you, including your medications. The impact on your family. The impact on your work. The impact on your social life. Most veterans write, I have kidney cancer. I was at Camp Lejeune, and they stop. That gets you service connected. It does not get you rated properly. The rating lives in the impacts, 4 through 7. Write them. Behind each form, 5 attachments, the diagnosis, an IMO from a doctor with the nexus, and that IMO has to say the doctor reviewed any and all available medical records, or it can get waived off. 2 board decisions, 2 medical research reports, buddy statements. For Camp Lejeune, your buddy statements do heavy lifting on a specific job, proving you were there. Base housing records, orders, a guy who was in the same barracks. That's your 30 days. Then number every file in order. Make it impossible for a raider to lose the thread. To help you with this, check out How to File a Winning VA Disability Claim. It's an Amazon bestseller. A raider who has to hunt is a raider who says no. 2 things I don't want to leave out because they cover a lot of people watching this. First, the 8 presumptives are the short road. They are not the only road. If your condition isn't on that list, you can still file on a direct basis. You just have to bring the nexus yourself. That means an IMO from a doctor who reviewed your records and says it is at least as likely as not that the Camp Lejeune water caused or aggravated your condition with the medical reasoning behind it. That's a harder claim. It is not a dead claim. The research on those chemicals is deep, and it is public, and you can put it in front of a rater. Second, and this one matters to a lot of families, if you're a spouse or a dependent who lived on that base, VA disability compensation is for veterans. But there is a separate program that reimburses healthcare costs for family members who lived at Camp Lejeune during those years and later developed certain covered conditions. That is a different program with different rules and a different application. I'm flagging it here so you know it exists because most families have never heard of it. Look it up on va.gov under the Camp Lejeune Family Member Program, or ask the AVOY navigator and it'll point you at the current requirements. The point is, veteran, spouse, dependent, civilian worker, if you drank that water for 30 days, there is something in this system with your name on it. Go find out which one. Let me give you something to put in your file because it helps. The Camp Lejeune contamination is not a rumor, and it is not a gray area. Government agencies studied that water for years. The main chemicals were trichloroethylene, tetrachloroethylene, benzene, and vinyl chloride. Industrial solvents and a known carcinogen in the drinking water for decades at levels far above what is considered safe. Why does that matter to your claim? Because you are not the one who has to prove the water was poisoned. That is already established in black and white by the government's own studies. That is what makes these conditions presumptive in the first place. So when you write your statement, you do not have to argue the science. You reference it. The contamination is documented. Your job is only to show you were there and that you have the condition. The hardest part of a normal claim, proving the exposure, is already done for you. Do not refight a battle that is already won. When you need to send follow-on evidence after filing, you can go through your VSO or you can go straight to the VA yourself. Quick submit, inside access VA. e-out.v-a.gov/access V-A straight into your file. Almost nobody knows it's there. One next step. Go take the free 60-second Camp Lejeune test at avoyvet.com. It'll ask you 3 questions and tell you whether you may already qualify. And it works for family members and civilians too, not just veterans. Free, no login. And hit the like button and subscribe. It puts this in front of another veteran who needs it. I'm A. Perkins, educational only. I don't file or represent claims, and I'm not the VA. If you were on that base, tell somebody else who was. The lawsuit closed. Your claim didn't.